How are you guys doing? Today is Monday, December 12th, 2022. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I am going to preview the semifinal round of the 2022 FIFA World Cup, which is currently being played in Qatar. We are finally down to 4 teams after they would battle their way through group stage, the round of 16, and the quarterfinal round, and now they've made it to the point that win or lose, all 4 of these teams will have 2 more games left to play. The winner of these games tomorrow and Wednesday will face off in the World Cup final on Sunday, December 18th, and the 2 losers from these games will face off in a third place playoff on Saturday, the 17th. But of course, taking a look at both of these matchups, looking at the one that's going on tomorrow first. Tomorrow on Fox at 2 p.m., Argentina is going to face off against Croatia. Argentina enters the 2022 FIFA World Cup as 2-time winners, having won the tournament in 1978 when it was played in Argentina, and they would go on and win it in 1986 when it was being played in Mexico. They've actually finished as runners-up in 1990 and most recently in 2014. In the 2018 FIFA World Cup, they would see themselves get eliminated by the eventual champions France in the round of 16. But looking at how they would enter this particular World Cup, Argentina would go on and win their Group C, with Poland, Mexico, and Saudi Arabia, as those matchups would see them first lose their first matchup to Saudi Arabia. They would lose that particular matchup 2-1, as their lone goal in that game would be a penalty kick goal from Lionel Messi. Argentina's second group stage matchup would see them beat Mexico 2-0 with their backs against the wall, with goals from Lionel Messi and Enzo Fernandez. Their third game, which would see them get eliminated if they lose, would see them beat Poland 2-0 with goals from Alexis McAllister and Julian Alvarez in the second half. Once Argentina would make it to the round of 16, they would end up beating Australia 2-1, with their 2 goals coming from Lionel Messi and Julian Alvarez, before Australia would score off of an Argentinian own goal. Once Argentina would make it to the quarterfinal round, they would end up beating the Netherlands after the game would go to pens. They would score both of their goals in regulation from Nahuel Molina in the first half, and then Lionel Messi's penalty kick in the second half would put them up 2-0 before Wout Weghorst would tie the game up for the Netherlands at the end of regulation. Once it would go to penalties, Argentina would beat the Netherlands on penalties 4-3, with the game-winning kick coming from their elite striker, Lautaro Martinez. That is how Argentina would make it to this round. Looking at how Croatia would make it to this round, the first World Cup they would play in would be in 1998, where they would finish in 3rd place. The best finish that they would ever have in a FIFA World Cup would be in 2018. Once they would make it all the way to the final, they would lose 4-2 to the eventual champions France, as both of these teams had lost to France in the last World Cup. As going into this particular World Cup, having yet to win their first, Croatia would finish second in their group to Morocco, finishing with 1 win, 2 draws, and no losses at all. Their first matchup in group stage would first see them draw with Morocco, who is still active, by the way. Croatia would beat Canada in their second match day 4-1, with 2 goals coming from Andrej Kramaric. Their second goal of the game would come from Marko Livaja, and the 4th goal from the team would come from Lovro Majer in the 94th minute. This is after Canada scored the first goal of the game. Croatia's last group stage matchup would see them hold Belgium at 0-0 so that they could earn their way into this round. In the round of 16, Croatia would end up beating Japan off of penalty kicks, as their lone goal in regulation came from Ivan Perisic. And then, of course, their goal, Livankovic, would put together some amazing shootout performances. And, of course, this shootout performance success would carry into their quarterfinal game against Brazil. As the game was scoreless going into extra time, Neymar would put Brazil up with a 106-minute goal before the halftime of extra time. In the second half of extra time, Bruno Petkovic's 117th minute goal would tie it up, send it into penalties, where Croatia would beat Brazil 4-2 to make it into this round. Looking at Croatia's history, this is the second year in a row that Croatia has gone on and made it to the semifinal round. So, of course, course, congratulations to them. This is a chance for them to possibly one-up their runners-up status from the very last time and put themselves up as major players on the main stage here at the World Cup. So that's going to be the first game between Croatia and Argentina. Looking at the game that's going to be taking place on Wednesday at 2, it is going to be between France and Morocco, a matchup that many would see as a David versus Goliath situation. Looking first at Morocco. Morocco is a team that's been, competing for the World Cup, but they would not qualify for the World Cup and play in it until 1970. The only year that Morocco has made it out of the group stage in the World Cup before 2022 would be in 1986 when the World Cup was in Mexico. In the last World Cup that they would play in, which would be in 2018 in Russia, Morocco wouldn't even make it out of their group. They would finish at the bottom of Group B, below Spain, Portugal, and Iran, only finishing with 1 point, finishing with just 1 draw in the group. Looking at how they would enter this group, this Morocco team would finish on top of Group F with 7 points. In their group stage matches, they would draw their first matchup with Croatia 0-0. They would beat Belgium in their second matchup 2-0, with their 2 goals coming from Romain Saiss and Zakaria Abouklal late in the second half. Their third match day would see them beat Canada 2-1, as the only goal that they allowed in the tournament would be a Morocco own goal. Morocco's 2 goals in the first half will come from Hakim Ziyech and Youssef En-Nesyri, as they would score the first 2 goals of this game. Once Morocco would make it to the knockout round, in the round of 16, they would beat Spain 0-0 off of Bounou's amazing penalty shootout performance. He would keep Spain scoreless as Morocco beat Spain 3-0 on penalties to advance to the quarterfinal round. In the quarterfinal round, Morocco would beat Portugal 1-0. Their lone goal will come from Youssef En-Nesyri in the 42nd minute, as they would get a red card at the very end of the game, but it wouldn't matter. With this win, Morocco will face off against a very talented French side that is coming off of a 2018 World Cup title. France they are 2-time champions of the tournament, as they had also won it in 1998. There are a lot of players on this French team that were members of that World Cup team, so you do have players that are looking to win it back to back. And of course, the FIFA World Cup hasn't had back-to-back winners since the 50s, 60s, so it's been a long time since. But France in this group stage would go on and finish at the very top of their group in Group D with 6 points after winning their first matches of the group. They would beat Australia 4-1 in their first group stage matchup after Australia scored the first goal on the play that would see Lucas Hernandez get seriously injured. France would tie it up with Adrien Rabiot's goal. They would see a brace from Olivier Giroud, and they would see Kylian Mbappe score the third goal of 4 to put France above and through. In the next round, France would beat Denmark 2-1, with both of their goals coming in the second half from their elite forward, Kylian Mbappe. The first one to give them the lead, and the second one to break their 1-1 tie. Their third group stage matchup would see them lose to Tunisia, however, as Wabi Khazri's 58th minute goal would be what Tunisia needed. Once France would make it to the knockout stage, they beat Poland 3-1 in the round of 16. Olivier Giroud would score the 44th minute goal to become France's all-time goal-scoring leader, and then Kylian Mbappe would score a second-half brace to put France above and beyond, which puts him in the full lead for the Golden Boot race, as right now he has 5 goals in the World Cup. And then that goes into their quarterfinal matchup, where France would end up beating England 2-1. Their first goal will come from Aurélien Tchouameni, as Harry Kane's penalty kick goal would tie it up in the 54th minute. France would take the lead in the second half off of Olivier Giroud's 78th minute goal. Harry Kane would have a chance to tie it up with another penalty, but missed it. France would go through to the semifinal round with that, and now they will face off against Morocco. The winner of France and Morocco will face off against the winner of Argentina and Croatia, and the loser of Argentina and Croatia will face off against the loser of France and Morocco in the third place game. That is how the 2022 FIFA World Cup is going to end. And of course, once this round is done, I am going to preview the final. But before we get there, I want to thank you all for listening. I hope all is well, and peace out. I'll catch you with more tomorrow.